Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the rape of Lucrece, which, content warning, deals with sexual violence towards women and suicidal ideation. So if either of those is a trigger for you, please tune out right now. If they are not, and you want to hear today's stanzas, we're going to look at stanzas 177 to 180, which it's morning now, the morning after, so to speak. And Lucretia has decided two things. First, that she has to kill herself because she can't live with this shame. But second, that she's not going to do that until she's able to tell Collatine what happened, because she wants him to know that she didn't sleep with Sextus Tarquinius willingly, and she also wants him to be able to take revenge on Sextus for her, for having done this to her. So having come to these conclusions, she calls for her maid, and at the end of yesterday's stanzas, her maid comes in and sees her there. You know, her cheeks are all tear-stained and she's looking really sad, and the maid really can't do anything except for cry along with her. She hasn't asked what has happened yet. She just sees her mistress in this terrible, distressed state, so cries along with her. And stanza 177 picks up there by saying, "A pretty while these pretty creatures stand, like ivory conduits, coral cisterns filling. One justly weeps, the other takes in hand no cause, but company of her drops spilling. Their gentle sex to weep are often willing, grieving themselves to guess at others' smarts, and then they drown their eyes or break their hearts. For men have marble, women waxen minds, and therefore are they formed as marble will. The weak oppressed, the impression of strange kinds is formed in them by force, by fraud, or skill. Then call them not the authors of their ill. No more than wax shall be accounted evil, wherein is stamped the semblance of a devil. Their smoothness, like a goodly champagne plain, lays open all the little worms that creep. In men, as in rough-grown grove, remain cave-keeping evils that obscurely sleep. Through crystal walls each little mote will peep, though men can cover crimes with bold stern looks. Poor women's faces are their own faults' books. No man inveigh against the withered flower, but chide rough winter that the flower hath killed. Not that devoured, but that which doth devour is worthy blame. Oh, let it not be hilled, poor women's faults, that they are so fulfilled with men's abuses. Those proud lords to blame make weak-made women tenants to their shame." So there's some interesting philosophizing happening here, for lack of a better word. In the first of these stanzas, the narrator is just telling us that the maid and Lucretia stand there and weep for a little while because women are empathetic, and then launches into this thing that lasts for the next three stanzas about the differences between men and women, how men have these very stiff, hard minds like marble, and women are more flexible in their ways of thinking. But the narrator's also sort of trying to make the point that just because men's minds are tough, that doesn't necessarily make them the authors of their own evil, any more than, you know, stamping a picture of a devil on a piece of wax makes that piece of wax evil. So it's sort of a weird way of looking at things. In the last of these stanzas, he's like, nobody blames the flower for dying in winter. They blame the winter for killing the flower. So it should be sort of the same. You know, men may do these things, and it's because there's this like evil and bad thoughts that live in them that's cracking out in between the marble that is their brains, but they're able to hide it. The difference being women are not able to hide how they feel about those sorts of things. So, but then he also wraps up these stanzas by saying that we shouldn't blame women for the things that men do to them. As in, it's not Lucretia's fault that Sextus Tarquinius raped her, and she shouldn't be held accountable for that. She shouldn't be blamed for it any more than a piece of wax stamped with the devil is evil. So just some interesting thoughts from the author and from the narrator on the state of things at this particular point in the story, with Lucretia being so distraught, with her maid empathizing with her distress, but also Lucretia is about to tell her story, and maybe this is setting us up for, don't blame Lucretia for what happened to her. Maybe it's just trying to put the reader in the right mindset, keep the reader on the side of Lucretia instead of on the side of Sextus Tarquinius. Or something. I don't know. If it landed on you differently than that, please let me know. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.